Good morning, Lincoln, Nebraska. Happy Thursday. Happy July 2nd. Happy morning hookup. 9 to 11 here this morning. It's Elijah Herbal, YZ. And how about this? A special guest in studio for you on a Thursday wearing his Philadelphia 76ers shirt. We got a trade to talk about.
No, don't be shaking your head.
At
least I didn't wear my hat.
We'll be getting there.
I know we will.
I'm shocked he's not wearing the Celtics.
And you know what?
Today.
And here's the thing.
He just gets on out.
Well, we brought him out of the booth. The tow booth Willie just came out of the booth.
I'd say you can go check next door. That'd be the place to check.
And Elijah, I know that you will appreciate this too, because I know you've worked on this in the past too. I ordered this shirt like 12 years ago when the process started.
Yep.
And then I put on weight. Two years ago, I was up to 249 pounds. And this morning I weighed in at 207. This shirt fits again. So it's partially, yes, I'm happy about that, but it's also happy that I fit into a lot of my clothes again. So
can you believe we weigh the exact same?
Do we really?
We do. You weighed at 207, you said?
207.
Yeah, we did at 207.8 yesterday.
I was at 207.6.
Oh, look at us.
You would still dunk on me, I know.
Oh, I can't dunk, but we could have maybe a fair competitive wrestling match. So, if you want to get there during the break.
We should. No, you'd probably whip me too. I know that I asked YZ a favor. I don't ask too many. Try not to do too many music favors anymore, but what's funny is that Borderline song. I had that on my Facebook post yesterday. Because as you guys know, I have like a rare form of, I think, 80s music autism. And as much as I know about music, I am really in a quandary because we have that softball game coming up here in about a month and a half, where a lot of the radio stations around town, the two TV stations that we have also, well, we pair up with the first responders, the fire department, the police department. We have that little shindig down there at Haymarket Park. And I can't come up with a walk-up song.
Really?
I can't. I have no idea. So I opened it up to the public, and of course we got all kinds of suggestions. So if you guys, I know you guys both do the ones and twos throughout the week, and you guys have a great vast in your library up there. So if you come up with any ideas, please, by all means, I'll be looking for one. So, but I did want to also take a second to just admire you, because I was talking to the boss before I came in that this building has now become K Elijah. It has. I'm serious. Why is he? I walk in this morning. He's in there subbing for Schmitty on the KFOR morning show.
Yep. He
does obviously the Average Joe in the afternoon. He's here now. I'm going to probably come in sometime next week, and he'll kick D Wayne out of the FM station here, maybe even subbing for Coriel and JP. Mm-hmm. This guy is crazy. I swear he sleeps downstairs. So, yeah, you're I think what the station would call the utility player.
Yeah,
you're like Steve Lyons. You're going to play every position in the 9-inning game.
Glue guy.
Yes,
Glue
I love
guy.
it.
Absolutely. Did I officially introduce you? It's Theo Malone hanging out with us. I can't remember if I even said your name on the air anymore. We got to.
Well, I think I'm in here enough.
The voice.
That when you say Theo, people know.
Okay.
I mean, let's hope that they're not changing the station or just decide to go Mo right now because I'm on. But I know it's big shoes to fill when Hooksy's gone. So,
well, have you seen the guy?
It's not that big of shoes.
8.5.
Well, we were talking about that. Me and
size 9,
Jill
maybe.
and I. So it's smaller feet.
I mean, him and his son share shoes.
Do they?
Yeah.
But and you guys aren't in tomorrow because that's
4th of July holiday. Our official holidays tomorrow.
Well, you guys are like a bank. If the actual holiday falls on a weekend, you guys get the one off before it, huh?
Yeah, which is great. Because we don't take that many holidays.
Arbor Day.
I wish.
Flag Day.
I love Arbor Day is the state holiday.
It is, because and I don't mean to totally go tangent here on our sports show, because obviously it's a big deal here in Nebraska with J. Sterling Morton and Arbor Lodge being down in Nebraska City. But I think they call it, is it more like Earth Day, I think now? Or is that something totally different? Is Arbor Day basically called Earth Day? Is like April 22nd?
No,
I'm shooting this from the hip. I don't have a computer in front of me, but I wonder how big that is nationally. I know it's a big deal here in Nebraska, even though we've got, 8 trees total in the state? But it's still,
Arbor Day it's not Earth Day, I don't think.
Okay.
But it's like Arbor Day is popular here. Earth Day is popular. Like everyone knows Earth Day.
But not everyone knows what Arbor Day is.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Like it. But what's spectacular is you say there's like 5 trees, but like every single tree you look at in Nebraska, aside from the ones that grow up right next to a river, they're all planted by man, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. Like you drive down I-80, most of those trees you're seeing out there aren't natural.
Well, the ones in the field are planted by birds, especially the cedar trees.
You know what I mean? Like the
Yes.
seeds,
Okay.
though, at some point in time were brought by man. Like
Yeah.
they've all been.
Well, we've all heard that it's Johnny Appleseed. He went around, planting all those seeds, didn't he?
Well,
Come on, everyone read that book as a kid.
he was based on a real person, I believe.
Yeah.
Am I getting my wires crossed?
no, I think
Johnny Appleseed was based.
He
on
was
a real
based on
guy.
a real person, but I'm not sure his surname was actually Appleseed.
Johnny.
Maybe he could marry out of that. I don't know. Let's look into that.
Johnny Appleseed's real name was John Chapman.
Chapman,
Famous pioneer and nurseryman, was born in Massachusetts in 1774 and spent his life both planting trees and spreading his faith across the American frontier.
what if he was related to that big lefty for the Yankees that threw a 105?
Roll this?
Yes, Deborah Chapman. Okay, that's been today's edition of this old lawn and garden show.
Well, on the 4th of July, I think it's okay to recognize a folk hero like Johnny Appleseed.
Okay, 4th of July coming up.
Yeah, I'm prepared to say it's Thursday. Today kicks off the 4th of July weekend.
That's fair.
I'm prepared to say that.
That's fair. And it's kind of a big deal. The 250th birthday of the United States.
What are you doing for the 4th?
Who knows? Maybe working. I don't know. It's and I enjoy the 4th. I also enjoy working on the 4th. For those of you who don't know, I work, quote unquote, let's just call it transportation. And at night you get, while I'm transporting, I get to see a bunch of fireworks go off. It's tough because I can't sleep if I have a weird shift trying to sleep during that time, because you just can't go out and tell the neighbors, hey, I'm sorry, I got kind of hosed with a bad shift. Can you not light anything off this year? That doesn't go over well. My son, on the other hand, he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. We've already had to drop. Coincidentally enough, I've spent $250 on fireworks this year for him, which is a lot less than normal.
That's interesting considering the fireworks stands aren't open in Lincoln yet.
We had to drive to Waverly twice.
Okay.
Don't kid yourself.
Better than Missouri.
Don't kid yourself. Well, he wanted to. Dad, I want the ones that go really, really loud, like the artillery. Yeah, let's get those. You have to drive to Missouri to get those, Xavier. Let's go. It's only an hour away.
You can find some good artillery shells around here.
You can.
There's better stuff in Missouri.
Well, and it's hard too, because growing up, Xavier, he wasn't one of those kids where you walk into a store, I want a toy, I want a candy, never asked for anything, well behaved. And so when he's like, Dad, can we get fireworks? Your best behaved kid out of the 4, it's hard to tell him no. And so he loves it. He's a 4th of July.
You can just call him the favorite.
Right. Well, I think Mom might. He's the baby.
Yeah.
Everyone says that the baby gets spoiled. Maybe, but when the baby's also the best behaved, it's hard not to. So
my dad was the same way. Well, my dad also loves things that go boom. So every single year on the 4th of July or around that time, it was always we're spending this much. We have a set budget in place. We're not going over it. And then we're at the fireworks stand, and I'm looking at what my dad's put in the cart, and I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, he has single-handedly gone over his own budget.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No, he loves the things that go boom. I love the things that go boom. My brother's got a young daughter at home, so now he loves the things that go boom a lot less whenever bedtime's 9 p.m. But
and see, my father, he was such a realist. He goes, just give me your $20 bill. I'll light it on fire. It's the same thing. And of course, it's like, I went along with it until I got older. I'm like, Dad, that $20 bill doesn't sparkle and have the colors.
Yeah.
You got to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, so he does that. And I will give extra credit too. This will be a great transition. We did go out to watch a couple of local Legion teams play last night. As soon as that game gets over, he's like, we got to race home. While not a huge soccer fan, Xavier wanted to be home in front of that TV to watch the World Cup. And as we go throughout the morning, you'll find out we're not the most educated soccer fans. I have a pretty good concept of what's going on, keeping track of extra time, this card, that card, where you kick from, that and that. We're still trying to figure that out. Frustrates my wife, but I think whether you're a diehard, casual, a soccer fan every 4 years, kind of like I am.
Which is
that-
perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's great because you will sit there because they're representing your country.
Yep.
And that was a huge part too. And it's just great to see them doing what they're doing. And I don't know. I guess I would defer this to you guys. Do you want to beat the best, or are we hoping that the Frances and the Englands get upset and maybe we have a easier path? Kind of like I was hoping for Nebraska during March Madness.
Well, the first thing I will say is if your dream here is that the United States goes and wins the World Cup this year, keep dreaming. It's okay. This team can be great and it can have an incredibly successful run without lifting the trophy at the end.
Sure.
That's okay. That's why I'm going to appreciate the teams like France, and I wouldn't mind seeing England get upset. They have a really fun game next time at altitude at the Azteca in Mexico. Good luck. Their coach has already said there's no way you can adjust to the altitude. We should have to deal with it. And I go, that's good luck. Good luck, England.
Go train in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. Well, in 5 days' time, like you're just not going to get acclimated in time.
Well, okay. And this is going to be a lot of questions on my part because I think that I can identify with maybe a lot of people that just don't watch soccer religiously. That are the expectations higher because we should do better with a home crowd with it being here? I mean, if you took the same team and the tournament was somewhere else,
Much more
we
difficult.
wouldn't have the same success, would we?
I think this is still the most talented United States team they've ever put together.
Even more with the goalkeeper. I know
Howard.
it's Tim and Landon.
Landon Donovan
was on that
Clint
team
Dempsey.
too. Yeah, that was a pretty good team. I remember watching years ago.
They were good. They weren't this team.
Okay.
That team was plucky. They fought hard. It was a lot of like guys that were either good players in America or they're average players in Europe. This team has players that are bound for long-term success in Europe at the top level of the game. This is unquestionably, it's the best roster. It's the best manager, the best coach, I should say. I'll put that in American terms.
He only buttons one button.
Pochettino?
Yeah, on this jacket.
I'm
Am I the only one that noticed that?
He's got a little swag to him.
I did not know.
Okay, I didn't know if that was a new trend.
Because he's got like the double pot. He looks like he's going to a grill out. Like,
Right.
going to the grill, but buttons the one. He kind of looks like Russell Crowe. I'm cool with it.
I would go with that. I would go with that analogy.
He's got the swag going. It's like by 400% the highest or the most money we've ever given to a coach to come coach the U.S. men's national team. He's coached at the highest levels of soccer. The fact that you have him is incredible. The guys you have in this team, Flo Balogun, who got the red card last night, we're going to have to get into that.
Well, we'll talk about that.
I mean, he ended up by the end of this past year, he was one of the best players for Monaco, who is a powerhouse team in Italy. You have Christian Pulisic, who's played at the highest levels of the game in Europe. You have up-and-comers like Tillman, who scored the goal last night.
Yes.
He's going to be a star in the Premier League for a long, long time. You have Tim Ream, who played a long time in England. He's back in America now, but this team is just chock full. Not to mention Serginho Dest, who is thought to be the next big thing for Barcelona, who is arguably a top 3 team in the world.
Right.
This team is chock full of talent. It's the most talented team they've ever had. The problem being, through the past 8 years or so, as this team kind of came into their own, they never achieved the levels of success that you thought were possible. You always thought there was something more out there. This team now, and part of it, I think, is playing in front of the home crowd and having that confidence. Part of it's Pochettino, the manager. Part of it is the fact that guys are just all healthy at the right time. This team is finally playing up to the level that has been out there for U.S. soccer dating back to probably 2018, whenever they missed out on the World Cup. That was an incredible disappointment. This was supposed to be the golden generation. Ever since then, this team has taken stride year after year after year, getting better, achieving or trying to achieve a goal, which is make a deep run in the World Cup. And this team is finally playing like a team that can achieve that goal, that can go make a deep run. And it's going to be remembered for a long, long time. I say, regardless of what happens Monday, as being the best U.S. soccer team that we have ever seen take the field.
I want to ask you also maybe another factor as to why. Me being a little older, I can remember growing up that the main sports that we played as kids, the football, basketball, baseball. I did dabble with soccer a little bit. When you were younger, it was maybe something you could try for a few Saturdays and stuff. It wasn't that big. I look now at the youth soccer programs we have. I have a neighbor gone every weekend. Kids got soccer. Kids got soccer. Kids got soccer. You being involved, obviously, with the high school level sports, has the popularity of that sport here in the United States also played a part as to maybe the next generation, we're getting more kids taking it serious. So there's more competition, and it allows us to maybe put better players out there as to where you didn't see that, 25, 30 years ago.
Oh, and this all started, I think, personally, you go back to 2010 and the 2014 World Cups where the United States played pretty well, and kids out there going, oh, this soccer thing's pretty cool. Not
maybe even the success of the women's team with like Mia Hamm back then too.
That helps as well. And then into the Abby Wambach and Alex Morgan years, Megan Rapinoe as well, but we don't need to get into all that right now. But combine that with some decent cup runs for the men's national team about 15 years ago. Not to mention the fact that the Premier League started becoming more accessible to watch in the United States. I think young people in this country have been more exposed to soccer than they ever have been before. Another factor that I want to add in here is you think about, hey, if you were the best athlete at your middle school, at your high school, whatever it was back in the day, what'd you do? You played football. The football head coach was talking to you whenever you're an incoming freshman. They knew, hey, this kid's a great athlete coming out of 8th grade. Football coach is the first guy to talk to you. Hey, bud, you want to play quarterback? Hey, bud, you want to play wide receiver?
And when you were done doing that, you went and played point guard during the winter.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I mean, Alex Freeman is a great example on this team. Alex Freeman's dad, Pro Bowler for the Green Bay Packers. He went and played down in Florida. American Heritage School was where he went. If you're familiar with American Heritage, they are a football powerhouse year after year after year. The football coach came and talked to Alex Freeman's dad yearly and said, we need to get him on the football team. We need to get him playing football. And mom and dad essentially said, no. Why? Because Alex and then Alex's mom both watched dad get too many concussions in the NFL and deal with long-term damage of his time playing in the NFL. And they said, no, he's not going to play football.
And I think also the parenting is changed to, hey, this is what I did. This is what you're going to do, as to more, hey, let's identify what the kid is good at and what the kid likes and let him choose his own path. Well, I think you're seeing a lot of that too.
I'm sure you remember Antonio Freeman, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And his dad was like, thought he could have been a good football player. Mom kind of
maybe
could
have.
And like
maybe could have.
He had the talent for it, but they looked back at his own career and said, you know what? There's a long-term damage playing football. He's a great soccer player. We're not going to let him try it for the football team. You look at it now, he's scoring goals in the World Cup. He's a key member of that team. That's part of what this I think trend is, as well as people look at the other sports in America and you look at football and there's danger in playing football. Yeah, baseball is great, but it's the hardest thing to do is to hit a round ball with a round bat going 100 miles an hour.
And round ball, round bat, and they tell you to square it up.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, right. Makes no sense. And then the final factor here I'll say is that so many youth sports in America, and soccer falls under this just a little bit, but you look at the baseball and the basketball and the football and the year-round nature, the money factor that is needed to go and play so many youth sports in America. So many of them, it's thousands of dollars a year to go play on your travel youth baseball team, thousands of dollars in equipment for football.
And in hopes that you get a 25% scholarship to Southwest Utah State College of Shoplifting.
Yeah. You want to be good at soccer? What? All you need is a ball
and a net
or something that you can say, hey, that's going to be a goal for the day. You can have 2 trash cans in your backyard and say that's the goal for the day. It's got the lowest barrier of entry of any sport in, I would say, the world.
And a few cones. Need a few cones.
You don't even need a true soccer ball. You can get some, if you're in one of those poor developing countries, you can have some rags that are bundled up with rubber bands and call that soccer ball for the day. Like, it's got the lowest barrier of entry. You have guys that have good career longevity. There's not much long-term lasting damage on guys from this. And American kids are more exposed to soccer than they've ever been before.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. It was a great performance last night. Bosnia did not threaten the U.S. Even when the U.S. goes down to 10, Flo Balogun being sent off, missing the game against Belgium. Huge blow. But despite that, the United States still a favorite, according to Vegas on Monday night.
Well, I want to talk a lot about the match, because I have some questions from the standard spectator view on the game itself. We'll get to that. Also, I'll tell you how my introduction into soccer itself at second grade went. We'll take a quick break when we come back.
Yeah, and not to mention we have plenty more coming your way in hour 2
Yes.
as well.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot to talk to. We got some NBA trades.
We've got 2 peas in the pod coming your way with Jeff Moats and Theo Malone talking some Legion.
Oh, that's right.
Baseball.
I know you love having us in the room together. So
we got to talk about a big trade in the NBA.
Of course we do. And for those of you on the stream, of course you can see the shirt that I'm wearing today. We'll talk about that.
And we're also going to need Theo's take. We've talked about it a little bit this week. We're going to need his take on Sean Eichhorst as well, heading off to Wisconsin.
I know. I heard you talking a little bit about it. So yeah, I'll give you my take.
So we'll get to, but we'll continue on a little more soccer talk following the break here on the Morning Hookup.
YZ, are you a Celtics fan?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Are you a Celtics fan? Okay. I didn't know if it was all Boston. Okay. Because judging on some of the comments, of course, that I'm going to get to pinpoint at the 1 hour and 46 minute of yesterday's show and see if that's still the same take you have today.
What did I say?
Another excellent executive decision by Brad Stevens at the 146 mark yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to see if that still holds true today.
I bet you can guess what my answer is going to be.
I
think I might go find somewhere to go shoot some clay pigeons, a little blue rock tomorrow.
didn't know you were a trapster.
I'm not very good at it, but I find it fun. I don't think I've got a 12 gauge at home in the closet, and I don't think I've shot that thing in probably 3-4 years now. But tomorrow would be a good day for it.
You know what I'm not very good at that I actually kind of like playing? Tennis.
Are you a racquetball guy?
I don't think I was very small when that was kind of big, and my parents and grandparents would play over at this will be right up Henry T's alley, sports courts there, about the 44th and O area. I didn't understand the concept or the rules, but I think it's that whole baseball part of me of hitting something round hard. And that's why, in tennis, I was always terrible because now the Doug in Emu totally stole all my thunder. Because what I used to do sometimes when I get really frustrated at tennis, I would smack that ball as hard as I could to hope it went over the fence and then kind of run make-believe bases on the tennis courts, and they'd get up. That's not what we do here.
So unsurprising from you. No, I was fine at tennis. My problem being, I want to hit the tennis ball harder, but it's so much precision in getting the ball. Mm-hmm. Whereas racquetball, I love just hitting it as hard as I can to the wall. My only thought, just hit it low into the wall. I was a big racquetball guy back then. I haven't also played racquetball in a couple of years. Adulthood happens, and all your passions, you realize you have a lot less time
right.
for.
Well, but the whole adulthood too is the world has taken the adulthood under their wing, and now everyone's supposed to transition into this pickleball instead of tennis because it's easier on the knees, not as much running.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I can go and whip up on Larry and Nancy Finkel and win the Lincoln.
Back in here on the morning hookup. I don't know if this is a Thew request, but
no, I did. This all him.
Why is he just playing to Thew right now? Just wait till you get.
Well, he's got to know his audience. I mean, if you come in and play like all Tate McRae and stuff, I mean, yeah, I've got daughters, but you don't want to confuse the old guy too much.
Get a little Fleetwood Mac going next, and Hugh Malone will be singing along with it. I'm trying to think. So little Silver
This was Evelyn Champagne King. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he knows ball.
Right.
He knows ball. But as we talk a little U.S. soccer here, we set this up before the last break.
I'm gonna
dive right back in.
I'm gonna give you before we dive in, and I think that, and I will ask the 100 level questions because that's about what my soccer knowledge is. Because when I first got introduced to soccer, my mom drove me down Crete because that's where I went to school, even though it was 10 miles away, Saturday mornings. And like you said, don't even have to have a net, 2 trash cans. Back then, at that age, we had a couple of large tires that were spread apart to be the goal. And I don't think it was normal size. They were maybe, 10 feet apart. And I understood the concept, run around, try and kick them through the tires. Well, we're rotating positions, right? Okay. Well, Malone, it's your turn to go play goalie. Okay. Well, I go back there, and I'm standing there, and they would kick the ball right past me through the tires, and I would run and grab it, big smile on my face, and throw it in. And finally, the coach like, are you even going to try and stop that? Well, what do you mean? Yeah, you try and prevent that ball from going through there. I had no idea. I thought the goalie was just the guy who was in charge of going and fetching the ball after the other team kicked it through. So, yeah, that was my crash crash course into that. And of course, when the time came to decide between that and baseball, who knows? Maybe I could have been Pele. Probably not.
I did try out for the Lincoln Southeast soccer team my senior year.
You tried out for everything.
It was high school. I was some fun with it.
Right. I think you were like chess club and football and band, and I know you did show choir.
Not show choir.
Not show choir?
Don't degrade me like that.
Whoa, what's wrong with that? You can't dance and snap your fingers at the same time?
No, I did a choir where we dressed up like it was the Renaissance. We don't have to dive into that. No, but so I after football season ended, the weight kind of shut off pretty naturally. Being 18 helps at the time, but the weight kind of came off, and I could run further than I ever could before. I'm like, I'm trying out for the soccer team, and I tried out as a goalie. Kind of running goalie. Didn't allow a goal. All tryouts long, still got cut.
Really?
My distribution from the back was lacking, and they also didn't really need a second goalie because there was this freshman coming up that was like just as good as me. She's probably better than me, I'll be honest with you. And they're like, he can, because he's still an underclassman, he could be the JV starting goalkeeper, and then he can be the backup on varsity. And I was the last cut though. I talked to the coach about this afterwards. Maybe he's just trying to make me feel better. But this was like a year down the road. He was like, you were very close to making the team.
Wouldn't carry just one more, huh?
I had no idea what I was doing out there. But didn't allow a goal. I'm quick as a cat. Most people don't know that.
All right. Speak of not knowing what you're doing. Last night, obviously, United States gets the huge win, 2-0. A lot of the experts were, expected the U.S. to win. Kind of was a little bit sketchy, and U.S. gets their first goal. Then you see one of their studs get the red card.
Yeah.
We saw the replays. I don't know if the replay is good or not for this sport, because when you see live action, it didn't look intentional. Obviously, as you go to replay, the stepping on the ankle, it looks bad. I guess you'll never know if there was malicious intent as you slow it down. But instead of just a standard yellow card, he receives a red card. This was new to me. I understand that he, has to leave the game, but it's not like when you get tossed in baseball or, ejected in basketball where someone else pulls their warm-up off and heads in. You play shorthanded.
Yeah.
So not only does he miss next game, which we found out, which, gosh, that really hurts too, but you're down a player for the rest of the game, and then you have to basically hold off the other team. You're able to get another goal out of it to make it 2-0, but still, I don't know if you were the same, but I'm still sitting there sweating it out. Two goals, but Bosnia, they're attacking, and down a guy could make a difference. You definitely don't want two people getting a red card, or that's going to look really weird out there.
It gets, because then I saw this great story about this Premier League referee. So you can play down as many as 8 men. Once you get to 7 men, the game has to be abandoned. I saw this great story from this Premier League referee. A game has never been abandoned in the Premier League because there's too many red cards. And he had a team, it was 9-on-8 one game, because he was handing out red cards like they were candy. And then he sat there, it was late in the game, he goes, I'm not going to be the first ref in Premier League history to have these teams abandon the game. So he just kept all his cards in his pocket from the rest of the game. It turned into a cage brawl. But regardless.
Was that the right call last night?
That's what I was going to get into. The best way I saw this described, and I can't take credit for this, saw this online, I think it was with The Athletic, was that I would have called that, and it doesn't exist, so you have to bear with me for a second. That felt like an orange card. There's no such thing as an orange card in soccer.
A tweener.
But it's halfway between. It would have been, it was absolutely a yellow card. Very, very harsh to put that down as a red card. It's harsh. The intent was not there.
But it was the result.
But the result was bad, which is why it ends up being a tweener. Because the criteria for a straight red card is it has to be a reckless and dangerous challenge. It ended up being dangerous. I don't think it was.
But I
reckless.
think it was in a play for the ball.
Yeah, and he was trying to kind of shield himself. He's putting himself in between the ball and the defender. The defender's kind of trying to make his way around. I don't think, as he's sticking the right foot out to try to gain control of that ball, I don't think he realized that the Bosnian defender had made his way around and that he was now in the way. And as he makes that initial contact, I think that's just a guy trying to regain his balance and get his feet back under him, and the foot slides down and ends up on the ankle. There was, in my eyes, it was not reckless, but it ended up being very, very dangerous. Regardless, the result is what it is. If that had been a yellow card on the field, I don't think they would have reviewed it for a red. But because there was no card out, they end up going to review because they're saying, hey, this looks worse than a no call. And by the time you get to see it in super slow-mo, it looks like a red card. I don't think that's a play that even gets reviewed if he's shown a yellow card.
That's just a yellow card.
If he's shown a yellow card, I think you move on with the game and it's fine.
Well, let me ask you this, because you do some officiating here in town, and you never want to go against your principles and the integrity of the game. But I think depending on what the stage is and what's at stake, do you really want to be that guy responsible for making that sort of, game defining decision? And, for example, I mean, maybe you let a manager in one of the dugouts get a couple more words in during a state championship game than you would maybe, allow him that string during a regular season game, because to be that umpire to toss someone out of a state championship game, that's going to have an impact on that game. And this official, and what was surprising to me, and maybe hats off to the fans too, because I kept telling my wife, I'm like, I'm surprised that thankfully we're not like some of those European nations where you see the fights in the crowd, that our crowd isn't more just on that guy for making that call.
Well, if that happened in South America, that
because if it was in Memorial Stadium, you would hear boos for 3 quarters straight had this happened in Memorial Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have not? Yeah.
I wonder if part of that, I'm not sure if they got to see a replay in the stadium or not of that challenge, and maybe if they didn't, things would be worse if they did get to see what the challenge was. Regardless, the ref makes his call. You wish it didn't happen, but sometimes that's just the game of soccer for you. And it's like this in a lot of sports. Is a lot of times folks will say, and you see this in baseball, you see it in basketball technicals, you see it with targeting in football. He didn't mean to do that. Intent doesn't necessarily matter, but it is a factor.
Right.
Like whenever you look, that's why they used to have the 5-yard face mask and the 15-yard face mask. They took the subjectivity out of it. They didn't want it to be, well, did he intend to do this?
Well, and I didn't like that too, because I mean, grazing a face mask as opposed to putting your hand in it and yanking down on it, to me was a difference. Well, but it leaves it up to interpretation then too, yes. And that's what we got with this.
And that's where soccer is at, where reckless and dangerous leads to the interpretation of how do you define reckless.
Excuse me. So,
because reckless implies a little bit of intent in that you know the risks and you don't care about the risks. I don't think that was a guy that even understood the risk of what going for that ball was going to be, because I don't think he knew where the Bosnian defender was. Now maybe
or where he was going to go,
and maybe you as a soccer player need to know where everyone is on the pitch. You need to know where this guy is behind you.
Well, you don't play against those guys enough to know their tendencies on where he's going to put his feet when you land.
Exactly.
And so he is required to sit out the next game, yes. But we can still put someone else in and start it at full strength. Correct.
You'll be 11 next game.
Missing him for next game, because he's had 3 goals here.
4
he's
now.
4. So he's kind of one of your big strikers. Obviously a little bit of setback for the United States. Other people, they talk about next man up and stuff. Is it going to be critical enough that you're worried about the U.S.'s next round of 16 game?
Makes it more difficult. I don't think it takes it from me thinking the United States is going to win to me thinking the United States is going to lose. I think it takes me from a point of being
really confident.
If you had Bally and I had confidence, now it's a toss-up 50-50 type game. He's the best finisher you have in front of goal. And what sets him apart is he has that IQ. He always seems to be able to find space in front of goal, which is a valuable trait. It's like vision for a running back.
Mm-hmm.
You can't quite define it. It's hard to teach, but you know it when you see it. You know a guy who's got great vision.
Being able to hit the hole.
Yeah, same thing in soccer where it's, hey, the ball's out wide. A guy's ability to just be able to generate a yard of space in front of goal and find himself a little bit of space to get a shot off. I don't know how you coach it in soccer, but it's valuable. That's what he's got that nobody else in the team has. That being said, I look at how the U.S. responded from an attacking sense last night. Whenever they were down to 10 men, the chances kept on coming. The United States kept on finding spaces in behind. They kept on finding themselves opportunities to score more goals. It's one of the reasons why they got another goal. And hey, great free kick goal. But
that was being able to hook that in there like that. Did you breathe a little bit easier then when it was 2-0? A little bit.
At that point, I felt, I was like, if they don't score here before the 90th minute, which they were a short time at that point, it's like, United States is going to win this game. That was not the nail in the coffin, but it felt close to it.
But all these spaces you talk about that the U.S. was been able to find, as you move further along in this tournament and you're playing better teams, that those spaces and those gaps, they aren't going to be there as you start playing better teams that obviously you're going to be able to play better defense.
This is true. Belgium, I'm not sure if you watched their game yesterday.
No, but I have had one of their waffles.
Okay. Incredible. Have you had their chocolate?
No.
Also good.
Maybe.
They've been showing some cracks in the armor here this World Cup run. They're on a decent unbeaten streak, and about 3 months ago, they beat the United States 5-2. That was not even close to the United States team that we're seeing this World Cup. A lot of players didn't make it on that trip, but it's a very, very good Belgium team. It's the best team we've played thus far, but they eked past Senegal yesterday. They had to score 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of regulation to send it to extra time. They win it in extra time, but
would it have been better for Senegal to pull that upset then for us? Or similar opponent?
Similar. Senegal.
I know you have the scouting report on all 32 of these teams. That's why I ask.
Senegal, they are the champions of Africa. They won AFCON to get their way into the World Cup. They had a lot of confidence going for them. They have a lot of dangerous players, a lot of athleticism. Belgium's more of a technical team that they have a tall striker in the front with Lukaku. They're going to try to play a little bit more possession-based. I actually think the Belgium matchup's a little bit better for the United States than Senegal would have been. That being said, no matter who you face, Senegal or Belgium, it was going to be a tough test, but I still like the United States' chances. We'll see what changes they make to the lineup, the United States, to account for the fact they're not going to have Balogun for this next game. But I loved the way the United States continued attacking last night, even down to 10 men. That's very hard to do. A lot of teams would just sit back and say,
play defense.
We're down a man. We're going to play some defense. They kept on attacking. They kept on generating chances. And you're going to be back to 11 guys by the time that Belgium game rolls around on Monday night.
Shifts up to Seattle, correct?
Shifts up to Seattle, which they're passionate about their soccer up there. That place is going to be rocking on Monday.
So
night.
Maybe a more engaged crowd if you win. It looked like half of the stands were a bunch of Thumalones that had the red, white, and blue on, a beer in one hand, and just wanted to see their country kick that ball through the net, and really didn't have a lot of idea of really what was going on.
Yeah.
And so we might have more of an engaged crowd, you say, at Seattle.
I'm hearing you, though. You're getting there. Soccer it's a simpler game to understand and learn.
Well, I'm not going to say it's difficult. Now, hear me out. And I've made no bones about it. It's always been very difficult for me to sit there and watch grown men struggle to score for 90 minutes. I always said if I wanted to watch grown men struggle for 90 minutes to score, I would just take my friends downtown to the bars. Now people ask, but you're a baseball player. I'm like, you're right. I am. And believe me, I have the utmost respect for these soccer players, because you know what I do like about soccer and watching it? There's no commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do they not take timeouts? But then we get the hydration break.
And there's worldwide uproar about those.
A hydration break. I'm like, I'm fine with it, because I got to go up and get myself something to drink. So it's a hydration break for me too. Don't get me wrong, but you're playing in the United States, where on any given day we have 375% humidity. It's especially with the games down in Kansas City. That give them a little bit of a break, but to be able to just run out there constantly, nonstop, those are athletes.
Yeah,
those are.
What I also like about soccer, and TV networks like it as well. Very predictable in terms of time. 45 to 50 minutes for the first half, 15 minutes at halftime, 45 to 50 minutes for the second half. You're done in 2 hours.
But you never know how much is left. And just, at least in basketball, okay, final possession. Looks like team A is going to play for the final shot. The shot clock is off, game clock down to 17 seconds. So they're going to run the picket fence for Jimmy Chitwood. And as you're counting it down, guys are just running around out there. Now, obviously, you knew that they weren't going to get 2 goals as we were getting close, but they're just running around. All of a sudden, the whistle blows. Okay, it must be done.
Yeah.
There's no clock. And to me, as a naturalist, that's a confusing part for me, the average fan.
Can I flip this around, though, and give you the positive aspect of that? And I understand why Americans, it's so different from them. But if you're counting down to 0, there's a hard time to the end of the game, which I know seems so normal. In soccer, let's say a team is down 2-1, and you're coming up to the end of the game, but the team that's down by a goal has the ball in the attacking zone. They have a chance to score a goal. The ref is not going to blow that dead until the team that's up 2-1 clears the ball from the zone. So as opposed to being like, all right, the clock has hit triple zeros, the
And
game is over.
You didn't kick it. You kicked it a half a second too late.
Instead,
I mean, I understand that part.
Instead of having that, there's some feeling, some discretion from the referee.
Sure.
You know, hey, this team, they're down 2-1.
Let them have a shot at the goal.
Yeah, we're gonna let them finish off this possession, give them a chance at the goal. It may be like in basketball, if you get down to the final possession, instead of the clock runs down to triple zeros, you give them the full 24 seconds on the shot clock, no matter how much time is left on the game clock.
I think unfairly, I make those statements because while they're obviously very different, but at the same time, to me, the concept is very same. I see hockey and soccer, the concept very similar, as you have people trying to put the object through the net. The only difference, obviously, is you're on skates and have a stick, but you have a hard clock in hockey, and it's always one thing too that was hard for me too. You know, when you see a ball go out of bounds, like in basketball, the official hands it to them, they kick it in. That's like a gentleman's call. They just grab it and go themselves. Like, you don't see any challenges. Like, no, that went off his foot, not my foot. And you know what I'm saying? And when there's some, you try and kick it off of somebody. No, that didn't touch me.
You don't got guys doing this.
Yeah, right. There's no John Cook isn't over there with his green card, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so there's some things that I'm not trying to fight the system. They're just from watching what I would call the more traditional sports in the United States. There's some acclimation that I have to get to, both as far as how the game goes, the time, the officiating, and what all goes into that too, that I'm still trying to play catch up with.
Yeah. But I feel like once you make, it's a different type of sport, but there's an appreciation that can come from it. Even if you're not a soccer fan, I think to understand, if you watch enough soccer, you can understand why it's the world's game.
Oh yeah.
Is you understand why this sport has caught on so many different places. We talked about the fewer barriers to entry, but it's an easy to consume sport. You can sit there and you can drink a beer, you can chat with people, and you're not going to miss anything. You can have a 10-minute conversation and miss nothing in the game.
Now, I mean, absolutely no disrespect to the sport, but you know what my argument to that always is of why it's the world sport is because the United States will always kick everyone's tail in basketball and football's, yeah, they're, you know, that goes without saying. No one, you ain't going to put anyone out there as big as we are.
For a long time, it was baseball too, but the rest of the world.
But try telling that to Taiwan and Dominican Republic. Salvador Perez, I have something to say about that. We've been playing stickball since I was 4.
Japan coming in and winning the World Baseball Classic is probably how the Europeans feel when America comes in and beats Bosnia 2-0.
Exactly.
They're like, what happened?
The world is a smaller place now. That we don't control all of the Summer Olympic sports anymore, and now you're seeing the fever of soccer, you know, getting up there too. And I think it's good for the United States too, because I'm just a small percentage, I think, of what there are a lot of fans out there too that want not only to support the country but to learn more and get behind the sport. So
last thing I'll say before we take a break is you've seen how the football and specifically the NFL has tried to open up a new market in Europe, playing all the games overseas. You know, the world of football is super excited if the United States gets behind the sport of soccer.
Yes.
The amount of talent that can be found here in the United States, if you can lure guys away from playing football and basketball, this is the last untapped market of soccer where teams can come in here and there could be big advantages to be made, similar to how college basketball is going into Europe and recruiting a whole bunch of guys out of Europe, and the NBA's have all these guys out of Europe. It's changed the game. I think soccer sees it, the United States, the same way. Think of that as an untapped market, not just for TV viewers, but for potential new talent.
We're the Illinois of soccer. As Bill Murray said in 1984, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. So we'll take one more break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 1 here on the Morning Hookup. Gotta have it.
As an aside, and this is more of a commercial break thing to say, I'm really excited about this Monday night game with Belgium because the United States beat Belgium in extra time in 2014, and that was my first ever heartbreak watching the game of soccer. And I'm super excited for revenge now, 12 years later. I was watching down in the rail yard with my brother. It went to extra time, 0-0. That was the game Tim Howard made like 18 saves.
Right.
And that was the first time I ever experienced heartbreaks. I thought the United States had that one. They had a great chance in like the 90th minute. And that was it's still a lot of same players from the Belgium team. They were kind of coming into their own in 2014. Now they're all on the downward swing, where it's America's time now. Yep.
Biblical. What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Dogs and cats living together.
together.
Mass hysteria. Ghostbusters 1984. I've got some real issues. And the other P from the pod appreciates it when he comes in. Yeah, I remember that quote. Yeah, Motzi and Thew just do some 3-hour podcast with no breaks, just straight through.
How much time we have on the clock here? It should be short.
3:30.
Oh. All right, we'll just fill 90 seconds then. Not much topic we can get into there.
We can just talk about when the next match is for sure, so everyone knows what to look for, potential matchups if they make it to the round of 8, and just you take it and close it out then.
Yep.
Because I'd be interested of what potential matchups would be, on when it would be, where it would be if we win our next match.
You'll get the winner if you were to beat Belgium, the winner of the team that is playing next, Spain and Austria. Spain is good.
So we want Austria to upset them.
Yeah. Do you see Spain's love letter video they made to Chattanooga, Tennessee? Chattanooga's been their host site in the World Cup, and this city of Chattanooga's really embraced them. They've been going seeing all the sites around Chattanooga, and they released a video last night of
Do you think the Iran players are getting letters like that? Don't they have to stay out of country?
Yeah, they had them stay down in Mexico.
We don't want them here.
It's been a mess. Which welcome back into the morning hookup.
Yeah, if I would have had a hat on, I would have tipped my cap to you, YZ, because I don't think that we've ever done this Fleetwood Mac song as a rejoin.
Silver Springs.
Yeah, normally we get Everywhere or Go Your Own Way. We even had Landslide.
So it'd be their most beautiful song.
It's good.
Yeah. Quickly here, before we close out hour 1, I do want to say some shout outs to FloodX10 hanging out with us in the stream. Make sure you check out the Morning Hookup live stream on YouTube and on KFOR's social media channels. As the World Cup continues, this could be a World Cup hour. Move on to other.
No, that's fine. Because just we have general questions. So next match is it game or is it called match?
Game.
Okay, is going to be against.
Well, for the United States, they're going to have Belgium on Monday night in Seattle,
and that will be at 7 p.m. again.
7 p.m. again. Great time for the U.S. As we look ahead in the round of 32, Spain and Austria played today at 2 p.m. You have Portugal and Croatia, game of the day. That one should be fantastic. Cristiano Ronaldo against Luka Modric, 2 aging superstars. But
people are already anticipating the Spain-Portugal matchup for that round of 16, which the winner of, let's say, if the winner of that would
then
be,
play the winner of the United States and Belgium.
When would that be if the United States does advance on Monday?
Ooh, that is a great question.
Do you have a day or a location?
That would be those games go down Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next weekend.
Okay.
So I think
you would get an entire week and a half off,
or
just 3 days
because they'd play Monday and then get 3 days off. I think they would have then play Friday.
Friday, they should put that one in Kansas City.
I don't know where it is. I'll have to look into.
You get some drunk Husker fans down there just causing riots.
Yeah, but Portugal, Croatia tonight should be fun. And then World Cup After Dark, 10 p.m., Algeria and Switzerland.
Is that like a TBS special? World Cup After Dark.
I mean, that's
followed by Tales of the Crypt.
Switzerland and Algeria is a game you can put on TBS. That's fine. That's not an exciting matchup in any way, shape, or form. And then tomorrow, on the 3rd of July, you have Australia and Egypt. Boring.
Wasn't that the bracket that everyone thought we would get put in?
Yes. Well, Egypt kind of got upended on the last day of the group stage, and they got knocked out
Okay.
of the spot that Belgium is currently in. They
Gotcha.
got knocked down. And then Argentina and Cape Verde. Cape Verde has been the underdog story of this tournament. I think it comes to an end tomorrow against
Doesn't
Argentina.
Argentina have a real famous player?
Lionel Messi.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm trying.
Yes.
I know who Pele is.
Yeah, but Lionel Messi is up there with Pele in terms of those two are it's between those two for the greatest soccer player in history.
My wife sent me a reel yesterday. I don't know if it was Ronaldo, Messi, one of those famous players that showed him jumping 7.5 feet in the air.
Ronaldo.
Was it Ronaldo? Okay.
Yeah.
And my wife, not a soccer fan, was impressed with that too. I'm like, dude, that's some ups.
I think he's probably the greatest athlete to ever play the game.
He could dunk.
He's silly, easily.
All right.
He can hit his forehead on the rim.
Probably.
His highest header ever was recorded at 10 feet in the air. Anyway, so you have Ronaldo going at it tonight. Messi's at it tomorrow. United States back in action Monday against Belgium, 7 p.m. In the next round of the World Cup. We'll get to other sports, we promise. Next
And
hour.
Jeff Moats.
Of baseball, some thoughts on Sean Eichhorst. Jeff Moats joining us in hour
And
2.
NBA.
Yeah, stick with us. We'll be back with more after this.
Healthcare is up 20%. These price hikes come to you directly from Congress. The war in Iran is driving up gas prices. Tariffs have made everyday goods more expensive, while cuts from the big beautiful bill have closed rural hospitals and driven up medical costs. Learn more at nebraskagroundswell.org/costs. And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Easy Cater, the workplace food platform, makes it easy to order food for all your workplace needs.
From favorite restaurants, don't forget that.
Who are you?
Tina. I'm Tina. I use Easy Cater at my job.
Well, I am the voice of Easy Cater. Don't you have work to do?
Not as much now that Easy Cater saves me all that time ordering food for the office, with great options for any group size or budget, all on one platform. Just trying to spread the word.
Fine, let's do the last bit together. Easy Cater, it's all the food for your workplace.
All in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
Oh, you're not terrible.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3. Lincoln.
From the ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Big 4th of July celebrations planned for the whole country this weekend, but the biggest fireworks show in the nation, in fact in the world probably, will be in Washington, D.C., where the event comes with warnings this year about the sweltering weather. ABC national correspondent Stephen Portnoy is there.
The late-night pyrotechnic display is expected to last 40 minutes, making for the biggest fireworks show in memory on the National Mall. But the Washington Post reports the revelry could prompt respiratory issues. The paper cites internal National Park Service documents urging against prolonged exposure to the particulate matter from the 850,000 explosives, saying the fireworks could lead to elevated levels of pollution in D.C., for 3 to 6 hours after the show.
The heat could be at its worst this afternoon, according to ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
That scorching heat dome smothering 30 states is expected to hit its peak today, straining the nation's power grid.
I'm just not going to leave my apartment. It's getting hotter and hotter.
Several major cities declaring emergencies as temperatures soar into the 100s.
A lot of questions about the couple who made it up to the very top of the Empire State Building spire this week. The biggest question being how? Here's ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky.
The Empire State Building was supposed to have tightened security up on the 102nd floor. Right now, the belief is to bypass the screening everyone's supposed to go to. The couple simply followed workers and maybe went through an employee entrance, bypassing the screening, and then sneaking up through that maintenance hatch.
The couple has done this before, documenting their climbing exploits online and in a Netflix movie. Far fewer jobs created last month than economists had predicted. Only 57,000 new positions reported, less than half they thought there would be. Rescuers in Venezuela pulling a 43-year-old security guard alive from a collapsed building 8 days after the twin earthquakes. You're listening to ABC News.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Estella.
The final suspect in a produce stand vandalism has been captured. Good morning, I'm Jeff Modes. Cloudy and 81 degrees at KFOR. The fourth and final juvenile in last Saturday morning's vandalism and theft at Kelly's Produce near 48th and Adams has been captured. LPD says a 15-year-old male was captured at his home on Wednesday and taken into custody. He's been referred to juvenile court and lodged for criminal mischief, theft by receiving, and theft by unlawful taking. Two other males, a 15-year-old and 17-year-old, both from Lincoln, were captured last Saturday night up in Council Bluffs. And a 15-year-old girl has already been referred after her mother turned her in to Lincoln Police. More than $5,200 damage was done. The Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department Wednesday announced it's detected Jamestown Canyon virus in mosquitoes collected in Lincoln. Chris Schroeder is Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department's environmental health supervisor.
Make sure that you dump small wading pools daily and maintain swimming pools properly. Clear debris, weeds, and other litter from drainage ways. Change water and bird baths weekly and pet bowls daily. Make sure you store tires, buckets, and containers where they can't collect water. Fill low spots in yards, and then maintain garden ponds and fountains and always keep the water flowing.
Jamestown Canyon virus is another virus spread to people by infected mosquitoes like West Nile virus. Many people infected with JCV do not become sick. For people with symptoms, they have a fever, headache, and tiredness. There's also no human cases of JCV in Lancaster County or across the country so far. It's highly recommended to have adult supervision for kids wanting to shoot off fireworks this weekend. Lincoln Fire and Rescue Public Information Officer MJ Lerman says if you are shooting off fireworks at home, make sure the kids are not using ignition sources by themselves.
So make sure you have a fire extinguisher or a bucket of water or a hose nearby. Wherever you're doing that, make sure you cool anything that has gone off. If it's a dud, do not try to restart it.
And soak those used fireworks in a metal bucket full of water before throwing them into the trash. Mostly cloudy today, still a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high of 90. I'm Jeff Motes, KFOR News.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They'll be there for you when nobody is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. When you call 911, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
All right, let's play Name That Artist, Steve Malone.
It's Donna Summers,
Yeah,
man. Come
yeah,
on.
that was
You guys,
softball.
this was one of my favorite songs to play trap set to for Pep Band. Yes. That and Will Wipeout.
Oh, that's a good one.
But yeah, that's Donna Summers.
Yeah,
we would be here for 3 hours if you guys tried to play Let's Stump You on an 80s song. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I always watched it when I was in high school basketball band. We didn't call it Pep Band. Pep Band was below us. I always thought the trap play looked like they had fun on Green Onions.
Yeah.
The Booker T and the MDs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because see, you had marching band, which obviously we would do parades, and then you do it in the halftime show. But Pep Band is just what they called it when you played at the basketball games.
Yeah.
And you had the trap set. Sometimes now you see these, I'm sorry, whatever phrase you use, I'll still say Pep Band. Kids that play guitar or a keyboard even inserted into that. And that was still fairly new. I got to play keyboard for a concert band, which was different too, because we did a Mannheim Steamroller song. And so that was the first time that we had ever introduced a keyboard into a song, and that was kind of cool.
Well, I was in the esteemed Lincoln Southeast basketball band.
It was just called basketball band.
Yeah,
okay.
Shout out Mr. Sibley. He's run the basketball band for years out there. Just doesn't like the term Pep Band.
Well, so he didn't like the term.
He didn't like so
it could be called that other than the one guy you played for that didn't like the term.
You can call any other band in the state a Pep Band. Lincoln Southeast is the basketball band.
Gotcha. Now for my senior year, our marching band, I actually wrote the cadence for our drum line. Yes.
Oh, wow.
True story.
That's like the whole show.
Yeah. Well, because did you ever have to do parades? Like
yes.
we would do it at the state fair.
Yeah.
And in between songs,
we got to march on Waikiki Beach.
Okay. So, but in between songs where the band would actually play whatever song you were playing, the drum line kept everyone's beat. So our cadence.
Okay. Yeah.
I wrote that, which was I don't know. It really wasn't that big of a resume builder because here I am.
Let's talk about your band experience.
I can't even pick up an instrument. I have not the slightest clue on anything. So I did not play in any bands. I played Rock Band when I was a kid, and I was pretty good at the drums on that. But other than that,
like the video game,
yeah.
Okay. I have a nephew who's his father. I would have to look it up. Is one of the country music artists. He's in his band, and this nephew he can listen to music and play it.
Yeah.
And it took him maybe about 20 minutes, and he sat down because we have a piano in our house. And he started playing the intro to "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey on the piano, and my jaw dropped. And some people just they have that ability.
They have the perfect pitch where they can play it
where
by ear.
they can hear it and
know
they
exactly what note it is.
Just play it. I can show you a video at our next break, but yeah, that's a talent. It's a talent. There are a few people in my lifetime, and you look at that is musical talent.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys, I don't mean to totally go out. So what happens when you invite me in? We start talking about totally non-sports stuff. Prince. While I was growing up, whether you liked his music or not, I always tell people that Prince was the greatest musical talent of my lifetime, because not only did he write his own music, but he wrote top 40 hits for, 38 other artists. He could play any instrument. And to me, that's musical talent. Here we are. We couldn't carry a note of it at handles, right? But we get by.
I wish you were here whenever Justice Rhodey was in talking about the time that his mom went to one of Prince's parties in Minneapolis. So his mom essentially met Prince at Prince's house.
That's awesome. Oh, I like Justice. I never seem to be able to get Bill to take the day off when Justice is in here so I can catch up.
Unfortunately, just took another job. So
did he really?
Yeah. earlier this week. So
this has been a rough year for me too, because I watched.
Oh, it's about you.
Well, it's about my feelings. Yes, because one of our friends of the station and of all the broadcasting that we do, Bobby Hessling, who we've done a lot of sports coverage with, but Bobby obviously great job and took that out at Kearney. So I think Swanee. He went off going to go do his own thing. It's like, man, they're falling from the tree here.
I do believe Justice will still be doing some work with Motsu's website here with some high school sporting events in Lincoln. So you might still see him around. We're excited for him. Super awesome job opportunity.
Well, and that's what happens in this industry, because I have to realize that I'm just a 53-year-old intern that you guys just, a homeless guy that you guys found off the street to come in and fill in. Although I did cut my teeth you guys knew that at KFRX 30 years ago.
Yeah. Way back in 1991.
But I have to understand that it's a career, and you guys go to broadcasting school, and you guys all aspire to be the next Howard Stern. And I'm going to lose some of you guys along the way while I'm still here covering Husker sports.
Speaking of losing some along the way, the Celtics yesterday changing up their roster.
Can we start this with, and I know we did a little bit off air, because I don't always chime in, but I try and listen. And as the show, because it was just you two cats yesterday, is Bill was on his roundabout again, or walkabout, whatever he's doing.
Business.
And it was right toward the end of the show at the 1 hour and 46 minutes. You guys were talking about, I think it was Mitch Robinson. Is that what you were talking about? And I remember YZ. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but it's to see how much in 24 hours your attitude has changed. YZ at 1 hour and 46 minutes had quoted another excellent executive decision by Brad Stevens with the Celtics yesterday. I'm going to ask you, how are you on Brad Stevens' decisions this morning?
It took him 6 hours to
wreck that?
To completely mess it up. Yeah. Seeing this trade come across my screen, I thought it was fake. I couldn't believe it at first. And as I just keep diving into it, I still can't seem to wrap my head around it. Jaylen Brown, a guy who has been with the Celtics.
Tell us about the trade for those that didn't hear what happened.
Jaylen Brown has been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George and some picks, pretty much.
2 firsts, 2 seconds?
Yeah, also known as a bag of chips and maybe some pretzels. Paul George is 35 years old.
36
years old. Paul George has never won a championship or anything in the NBA. Paul George also is constantly injured, has not played like over 40 games for the last however many years. He's been bounced around to many teams in the league, and I just can't simply understand the return price for Jaylen Brown on this. I think
the Clippers got more for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. I think this kind of shows how desperate the Celtics were to get rid of Jaylen Brown, and that kind of tells me that maybe there's something deeper going on behind the scenes. Maybe he was like a diva in the locker room or something.
Because he was not publicly asking out.
No. This feels like a move where the Celtics were shopping him around trying to get a good package, and something must have become fractured behind the scenes with all that, because Jaylen Brown went from a piece. He went from a piece that felt like, hey, there's excitement around the league. You could get some people in return and kind of reshape this roster. It went from that to somehow within the past week, it went, apparently Jaylen Brown's a guy we have to get out of Boston. And that's what I can't wrap my head around, is this is the kind of package you get back for a guy that has become a team cancer and you have to get him out of the room.
Yeah.
Not a guy that you're shopping around this offseason in order to reshape your roster because you just got bounced by, who was it?
The Sixers.
The 76ers. How about that? And so it went from a point of like, all right, we can get some good pieces in return to we need this guy off the team so bad that we're going to ship him off to a division rival who just knocked us out of the playoffs. We're going to make them better. And in return, well, at least we got him off the team.
When the only reason that you were even close in that series was because of him, because Jason Tatum is hurt. And so I don't know I think it might be something where they have decided to hitch their horse to Jason Tatum, and maybe you two play a position that's kind of similar. Let's see what we can get back in return. But kind of to go off of what you said too, make no mistake, the Celtics were wanting in on the Giannis sweepstakes, and they missed out on that. And so now I because we talked about Jaylen not actively wanting to be traded, but if you find out that you're on the block And now that you missed out on target number one, which was Giannis. Can you not bring Jalen back, because there's going to be some resentment because he already knew that he was that big trading piece to try and get him there, and so now we got to find a home for him. And YZ, I'll let you get back into it, but along with where you had started, a 36-year-old who well past his prime, and some picks for a guy who's only a couple years removed from being the MVP of the championship series. I think he was in the MVP talk last year as well. He's been one of the biggest thorns in the 76ers side, and now he
just averaged career high in points, rebounds, and assists.
Well, and I think a lot of that too is because Tatum was hurt.
But it shows what the guy can do.
It does. And the Celtics fans, and it's not YZ, you're not alone. And there's a few of them that come on there that are trying to sugarcoat this, to say about how they can build with picks and bunch that up and maybe trade for something else. To me, that's and yeah, let's make no bones about it. I'm a Sixers fan, but I think the Celtics fans are just being delusional. This in no way helps them. And if you heard Sam Perkins on ESPN yesterday, who's a lifelong Celtics, a player, that this is horrible. This is totally one-sided. And not only is it one-sided, but Elijah, to what you said, one of your biggest rivals in the East as well.
Those picks too.
And the first one's not till 28, correct?
Right. And the thing about this too is the Celtics roster is still good. They're still going to be a team
they'll make the playoffs.
They're going to make the playoffs, which means then what? Those picks are going to be later on in the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So you are the value of those picks. It sounds like, oh, it's a first round pick. Oh, it's a second round pick. That's great, but you're not going to. It's going to be a 25th pick and on. So it's not like you're even getting a good pick in the first round.
You're not going to see drafts like you saw this year.
Exactly. Yeah.
It just feels like a move that the Celtics just made that may have slammed their championship window shut. Contender window, no, but championship window in that East, I feel like this move. How many good years does Paul George have left? You could argue he's already past the point of having good years.
He had the excellent years, obviously, while he was with the Pacers.
Yep.
And I think when you assembled him and Kawhi at the beginning out there with the Clippers, that okay, you had something going on. Throw a Harden in there, do whatever. But then what happens to all great players? As you get old, the body breaks down. You start to get injured, and that's what you've seen. Now, make no mistake, because what the Celtics see is still somebody that can give you production. I mean, make no mistake, Paul George is still a good player. Is he a perennial all-star like he used to be? No. He did shoot 40% from beyond the arc this year.
I feel like his game is kind of turned into, he's more of a spot-up three-point shooter the later he gets in his career. And the Celtics, they need
a connector. He's not the alpha dog anymore that he was needed to be with the Pacers and somewhat on a two-headed monster with the Clippers.
And don't get me wrong, the Celtics needed some help from three-point land. Moving forward, I think so.
With Shireman and that other dude that couldn't miss?
Shireman's off the bench. I'm talking starting lineup-wise. Starting lineup, I mean, Jaylen Brown, he's a fine three-point shooter. What does he shoot? Like mid 30%. You're going to get better three-point shooting from Paul George, and that gets you better floor spacing whenever Jason Tatum makes his return and is back a full go. But it just feels like you got worse defensively, slightly better from behind the three-point line, and where this trade is really going to help you is 3 years down the road.
Right. It's almost like waving the white flag. Like, we cannot get better than the Knicks this year.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this. But speaking of getting better, on the flip side, what does that do for Philadelphia now? Because, they got boat raced by the Knicks in the playoffs, but let's say no mistake, New York was playing their best ball at the end of the year. But now, obviously, a lot of it is going to depend on the health of Embiid. But you have one of the best young backcourts in the NBA with VJ and Maxey. And let's say you have a healthy Embiid, and now you throw Jaylen Brown into that mix.
Oh, they're stacked.
And guys, and I had said this, and I about wrecked my car when Xavier pulled this up. We were on our way out to watch that baseball game because I like you, thought it wasn't real. Because we saw that LeBron did not re-sign with LA, and we've had these few teams the last few days of potential suitors for LeBron. You guys, I'm going to toss this out there. LeBron's at a stage in his career where it's not about money. He makes enough money with everything else he does outside of basketball. Make no mistake, he is chasing MJ's legacy at this point. And I'm not going to say he's going to go anywhere for league minimum, but it's not about how much a team can pay him. It's about where can I go and win a championship. And now after this trade, tell me that Philadelphia, which was one of the teams that possibly was in the mix, 12 years ago before he went out there, that this could be a potential landing spot. Tell me how dirty that wouldn't be if Philadelphia now does what it takes and goes and gets him to add to that.
Think about the lineup. You have, a dynamic scoring guard with Tyrese Maxey, just worlds of athleticism with Jaylen Brown and Edgecombe. Put LeBron at the 4, and then an all-world offensive talent and Embiid at the center spot. If he can stay healthy, that's stacked. That if that were to happen,
that's probably one of the greatest starting fives I've ever seen.
I would. That's a little far.
What? No, who would you say?
I put that Heat team with Chalmers, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh.
Okay, in their primes. Okay, yeah.
And then go back to Showtime Lakers as well.
You're too young to remember that. He doesn't even know who Michael Cooper is or Kurt Rambis.
No, but don't get me wrong.
Mike McGee.
Don't get me wrong.
Mike McGee.
If Philadelphia found a way to pull that off, they would instantly vault up. I'd put them above the Knicks as my title favorite next year. And that's not crazy for me to say, I don't think. Considering the Knicks ran through the East, took down a very good Spurs team, I would take that 76ers team over the New York Knicks.
And for those of you that aren't watching on the
I'm
stream,
not hot take central kind of guy.
I know. I did wear my Sixers shirt in here today. I did that not knowing you were a Celtics fan, so that wasn't to try and pick a scab there, YZ. Make no mistake, being almost 53 years old, that the last time the Sixers won was in 1983. I was 10 because Dr. J was on that team. My uncle Moses Malone was on that team, and they've been to the finals once since, and that was with Allen Iverson in 2001.
Yeah.
And they somehow accidentally won game 1 and then irritated Kobe and Shaq and got throttled the next 4. So the process for me has been 43 years. So I'm having a good day. Speaking of having a good day, it just made it better. I got a smiling face that just sat down to my right. So
should we take a break?
We'll take a break. When we come back,
give him a proper introduction to the show. You've heard his voice.
You heard his voice. We'll have the man, myth, the legend, Jeff Moats will join us. We'll talk some high school sports. I know Legion baseball's wrapping up, and we'll talk all that. I'm sure YZ will probably come up with a trivia question, stump the what do you guys call them? The Oracle?
The Almanac.
The Almanac. The Oracle. All right. All that and more when we return here on Morning Hookup.
Oh, he did?
So he was arguing a balk call. Mm-hmm. And like 3 or 4 times. Finally, John tells him that's enough. Okay. 2 innings later, Faulkner has a question regarding something else. Comes out, hey, I simply have a question. Get back in the dugout. He goes, it's something else, just a question. Gone. And I don't know that John was having his best day.
Did he get restricted to the dugout?
Well, here's the thing. Well, I don't think John knew that. In Legion, when you're ejected, it's 3.
Yeah.
And
though it can get reduced,
and it did.
Okay.
He's like he called in. They immediately reduced it to 2. Did you want to appeal the 2? He goes, I can understand if you guys just gave me 1 or something like that. This is what happened. Would you take 1? Yes. And since Faulkner serves for both, they said, well, you can set that out the juniors game if you want. He goes, no, I'll do the Admirable game. And so he sat out the first game of the doubleheader against Christian last night. And because you didn't, in the same game, he tossed a player too, which that got.
And we're talking John, right?
Yeah. Who normally,
that's rare for him.
Right. So that's what made me wonder, like, dude, what did he have going on that day? Because usually, you get a feel of what umpires, what you can ask, how much you can say, if you understand that you're going to get a stern, stoic, maybe sometimes sarcastic answer out of centers. You don't want to catch something on a bad day, but he's going to call it fair. But that was so out of character for John.
Things can be. I'm wondering if. My question would be if there was a restriction to the dugout. Because if you get a restriction to the dugout, that is like a head coach gets restricted to the dugout. That can be that's usually like I'm done putting up with this dugouts.
That I don't know. And then what made it awkward is Faulkner had to work the gate for the rest of the evening. I told Faulkner, I said, you do fighting for your players. It's awesome too. It's a double-edged sword too, with you being the assistant AD, because the whole student body is going to follow your lead too. And you put on a different hat when that game's on.
There's also sometimes there's carryover from previous games. I've had a coach recently that gave me some issues, and it carries on to another.
And so you were already on edge,
stepping into a game.
Like, hey, I'm going to have a little less tolerance.
Just based on how last game went, and because if you let that carry over, I'll let it carry
I've gone
over.
out there too, knowing that if I have two teams that have a history.
As Theo Malone, you can see it on the stream, fumbles with a chair that out of nowhere dropped down to the bottom. Would you like a hand? Let's welcome. As I help out Theo Malone, let's welcome the Almanac, Jeff Moats, to the show.
You guys have 10 chairs in here. I'll just switch out a chair that didn't drop me a foot to the floor.
No, I'll come help out.
Our next rejoin song should be Lowrider.
You look like a child over there. Jeff Moats with us, though. Jeff, welcome to the show.
You know what? I'm watching Theo Malone trying to get situated with his chair. It reminds me of the old Saturday Night Live sketch called Theater Stories, where Mike Myers plays a British actor named Kenneth Rhys Evans, and he starts to rotate in his chair, and he goes, I seem to be rotating, or I seem to be going horizontal.
I thought you were going to go with like Science Mystery Theater 2000, where the robot actually had to sit on the booster chair just to see his silhouette against the screen. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, I was talking about the old Theater Story sketch on SNL.
Yeah. And for those that are unaware, I think it was YZ during basketball season gave the perfect summation of Jeff Moats and Theo Malone. 2 peas in a pod is the way that YZ described him the first time he produced one of your guys' high school basketball games on the airwaves. So welcome in to the 2 peas in the pod segment with Jeff Moats. Where it goes, we don't know.
Yeah, and that, you added on to that too. You said something to the effect of just turn the microphones on for 3 hours straight and they'll just go commercial free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wrestling
I didn't realize we were that loved in here, Jeff.
Wrestling to movies to music. We don't know where this is going to go.
A three-legged race to wrap it up.
Well, we talked about the wrestling match earlier. We get the wrestling match going.
On the air?
We learned Theo Malone and I are almost the exact same weight right now, which means it's the perfect time for us to get in either wrestling or boxing or MMA.
The problem is that he would slap me in like a diamond cutter or like Jake the Snake's pile driver.
See, I never wrestled, though. I did some jiu-jitsu, but I never did wrestling.
That would be the DDT.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And then I would probably just do like the
Dr.
Three
Dane
Stooges
Todd?
eye gouge.
Yeah, Dr. Dane Todd.
Yeah, the DDT.
DDT. So, Mozi, Legion Baseball. The summer, I know it's... we just got into July. The Legion's starting to maybe get close to the end already.
We just had the Peterson Coach K Legion tournament. That's the big in-season tournament every year here in Lincoln that had brought in 20 teams, played in 4 divisions. You had teams from across Nebraska, everybody in Lincoln except for Lincoln High, and then you had a couple of teams from Sioux Falls that came down and played. But it came down to Carpetland of Lincoln East and the Pinnacle Bank representation of Papillion La Vista that played for the championship on Sunday afternoon.
Is there a Pinnacle Bank here in Lincoln? Southwest. Okay,
Southwest is them too. So, but it was Carpetland that came away with the Coach K Mike Peterson title on Sunday over at the Sandhills Global Complex.
Wait, who was it?
It was Carpetland that won.
Okay, yes,
Lincoln East. Are you surprised?
No,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think so.
Right.
Yeah, it seems pretty typical about this time that we're talking about Carpetland or Lincoln East, however you want to identify them, that are hitting a stride. And the last time I saw Carpetland, it was a city game with the Southwest, and Southwest won that game. And that was right before East went on a big road trip to Cincinnati, and they played in the weekend tournament there. And I think, with that was a game where a lot of the arms were being used. The pitchers were going, I think, 2 innings apiece to try to preserve their arms for that tournament. Yes. And I'm not trying to make up excuses for them. I think that was, based on my observation, I think that's what it was for. But Southwest beat Carpetland in that game, and now Carpetland coming into a point now where we've got this week, next week, and then the following week, be July 17th, it'd be that Friday is when the area tournaments get underway. So we only got a couple of weeks left, fellas. Plus, you got the Cornhusker League Championship. That's I believe it's next week that they're going to play that, if I'm not mistaken, Elijah. And I think that might be here in town. I haven't checked lately. I haven't checked.
You better
lately.
look at your work schedule, buddy.
Yeah, I know I'm not working it as of now. We'll see what happens.
It's not on your calendar yet.
Yeah,
he'll be here at the station.
So once you get through the Cornhusker League Championship,
once I get off the baseball diamond, I'll come here, shower off, and get in my closet and sleep
downstairs.
Yeah,
right where the cot is at.
Yeah, we had to move the mop bucket just so we had a place to stay.
No, they don't let me have the cot yet. I sleep standing up. I'm kind of like a bat.
A bat or a vampire. So, but you got the Cornhusker League Championship that's coming up too, and then, again, the area tournaments. There are a couple of games tonight. Well, one tonight that I'm going to go check out, and Thu's going to be over there later after his softball game, is the Lincoln Hotel Group, which is Lincoln Standing Bear, and they're playing Malcolm. Malcolm, we all know about them and how dominant of a program they've been, not just in the spring in Class C, but also at the Legion level in the summertime. They have been very, very much a blue blood, if you will.
And a chip on their shoulder this summer, too, for not making state tournament this spring.
I mean, they got edged out by, what was it? I'm trying to remember how much of a point.
Oh, for the wild card.
For the wild card to get in. And they did not get into the state tournament. Had they gone to state, they would have been going for their 4th consecutive state championship, which I don't think has ever been done in high school baseball, at least in Class C, from that standpoint. But I think there is a bit of a chip on their shoulder with Malcolm, and we'll go see them tonight. They'll be over at Den Hartog at 7:30 tonight, and then next Tuesday, one of the last games of the regular season will be over at Hartog with J.C. Bragger of Lincoln Southeast playing host to Hastings, and then you get a bit of a break there, and then the area tournaments get going.
And Bragger playing. You and I got to see them a week and a half ago. They didn't, a little slow start, but boy, they really got the bats going here lately.
They really did. And they played Sagewell Orthopedic, which is Lincoln Northwest. And man, we talked about it last week with Liam George hitting that grand slam. In fact, I don't know, did YZ play that cut already last week? Yeah, we did play that cut.
Oh, so we have it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was Justice, but yes.
Or Justice, yeah. Justice played it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we got that clip still or not handy, but yeah, that was a well-hit shot where to kind of regroup and tell everybody what happened, it hit the scoreboard.
Which that netting, at least
the netting of the score. Well, but it caromed off the scoreboard too.
And it wasn't one of those majestic ones. He'd have got fired if he was a punter. There was no hang time.
Right.
It was a line drive missile.
It was a line shot. I mean, he hit the you-know-what.
Yeah, right. Your joke.
Yeah. And I'm not going to bring that onto the air. But anywho, so you got that, and then we'll have area tournament play. By the way, area tournaments that will involve Lincoln teams will be Area 5. That'll be hosted here at Den Hartog. And then there will be 2 from Lincoln that will go to Area 6, which I believe is up in South Sioux City. And they try to rotate the Lincoln teams every year that either stay here or go up to South Sioux and play in Area 6. Those brackets have not yet been released. I would imagine here in the next couple of weeks we'll get those pairings, and then once we get the pairings, then we'll tell everybody where everybody's going, what the matchups look like.
Those area tournaments seem like they're a little bit more logistic centered than the districts are in high school. It's all just kebab,
Well, it used to be.
It's like a grab bag.
It used to be in all sports at the high school level. I'm talking about the NSAA. It used to be like with basketball in particular. you had an all Lincoln district in Class A. Okay. So Pershing Auditorium, may it rest in peace. That was the site where you had what would be the A1 district, which was Lincoln, and you'd have the four at the time, the four LPS high schools. And it was for a while Beatrice when they were A. Hard to believe. These kids are like, Beatrice was Class A. I remember when
up until what, 88 or 89?
About 89 or 90.
Yeah, it was right before, because we had to start playing in my junior and senior year.
Yeah, so it was about 89, I think, when they made the switch down to B. But it was Beatrice for a long time, and then when they moved, and then in, I think, 90, it was Fremont. And so Fremont would come down and play the Lincoln schools in the A1 district for basketball at Pershing. And then the Metro schools, they were all to themselves. And then you had, one outstate. I know if saying outstate's a bad term, but Greater Nebraska, you had,
the Columbus or Norfolk.
You would either play at Norfolk, Columbus, Grand Island, Hastings, or Kearney, maybe North Platte, but a lot of them, I think, kind of congregated toward Grand Island or Hastings. And that was really one of the last times that you saw more geographical district pairings, whereas in about 1995, my junior year, they split up the districts and they went by point standings. Well, they went that way. They predetermined those districts. They kind of rolled the dice and said, okay, so-and-so is going to go here, so-and-so is going to go there, so-and-so is going to host
Try and
this
divide
district.
it up in case you
They're
had
trying to
two
balance
Omaha
it.
schools that were good or
Right.
two Lincoln schools that were
Right.
good. You're not knocking each other out.
And then the 1 year in boys basketball, the last time this happened was in 2007, where nobody from Lincoln or within Lancaster County made the boys state basketball tournament, is when they decided, okay, well, we need to make some changes. And they reconfigured everything, I think, based on point standings. And they said, okay, Class A is not going to be released until like 2 weeks before or whatever. That's when they decided, okay, by point standing, here are the top 6 or 7 districts or teams in Class A. They're going to host districts. Everybody else is going to fall in line. So we've been at that model now for almost 20 years, going on 20 years.
Are Raymond Central and Malcolm still in Lancaster County?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're all with, yeah. So the schools you got are obviously all the 8 LPS schools: Pius, Lincoln Christian Lutheran, Parkview, College View, Waverly Norris, Malcolm, Raymond Central.
Okay.
That's why he's the almanac.
Those are the schools that you have. Well, I have to know that because what we cover.
A lot of people forget about College View.
Yeah, because they don't have a football program, but they do compete in volleyball and basketball.
Neither is that
sports.
school of the hat you got on too.
Oh, there he.
I hadn't got one in yet.
Oh,
Sorry.
he had to get one in. And there's the fist bump to confirm.
For those of you not on the stream, Mozi does have his Creighton hat on today.
And by the way, that was not by design either, like you do with the Sixers shirt for YZ.
Right. Oh, yeah.
See? That wasn't by design.
Now, but you tend to wear that quite often. Like, oh, Thew's coming in today. Let me go dig that Creighton hat out.
You know what? I totally forgot you were coming in.
That's okay.
I was heading out the door. I'm like, got to grab a hat. Grab the hat.
Hey, when they won this year, all it did was help our RPI.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I know this.
You are
I know
welcome.
this.
You are
Doesn't
welcome.
mean I have to actively cheer for both. I can hope that you guys beat Seton Hall and
you know what,
Providence and stuff to help our RPI.
I can see Thew Malone sitting there in his chair at home like Jerry Tarkanian with a towel, biting that towel.
Come on, we need those RPI points. McDermott, you got to win this game. Got to help us out. We could get 1 seed higher.
Let's be clear. You sit back and it's a win-win.
Right. Hey, Creighton lost the game that mattered. So that's,
Well.
But anyway.
But anywho.
So you'll be at Hard Talk tonight for sure.
Yeah, you're going to be out there, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
After
so
a
we'll
win.
have Standing Bear and Malcolm tonight.
Should be a good game.
I'm very curious to see the Standing Bear Ball Club. I think I saw them once during the spring. And this is something, again, that for many years that we've been following area baseball, and Bill Hooks has made the point that a couple of years ago when these kids are still playing youth level select travel ball, that when they got together in a couple of years over at Standing Bear, that this is going to be a team to watch for.
Well, and it started because when we covered them last year, on the front, from the baseball perspective, and you looked at that roster, and they had no seniors. There were no seniors, so you knew that what you had last year, barring people moving, transfer, whatever, that was going to be the team that was going to stick together for the next year, and it paid dividends because all those kids that did fairly well last year had a year to grow, and so then when you had the seniors all come out this year, like Gavin Bullock, Freschel, guys like that they were good, and it proved so because making the state tournament, and when that team gets hot, they can play. Now they are B still for a couple more months till they make the jump to A, and Malcolm. You can call them Class C, but they go out and they play the Norrises and the Class B schools in the area and tend to whip up on them. This will be a great matchup tonight.
I like to see teams like in Class A to play a team like Malcolm too.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Malcolm competing with a lot of Class A schools.
I did. I went out and watched. I'm trying to think of who they. It might have been Northeast that I went and watched Malcolm play. No, they played Lincoln East. And it was a lot closer than you thought. Now, I mean, maybe Carpetland took it. It was a Legion game, took it for granted that are Class C, but you still know that it's Malcolm. And it was really weird because, and I'll give credit to a defensive coordinator / head coach of the Legion team, which you and I talked about earlier. It's different than their high school coach, Tanner Soderberg, who coaches their Legion team, that he really made Carpetland think. He went to a 4-man outfield. Went to he was playing slow pitch softball, went to a 4-man outfield.
So did they drop the shortstop
the second baseman out?
Oh, second baseman.
Now, if they would sometimes bring him back in when you'd have a runner on first or something for the double play, but that pitcher knew that responsibility when he fell off that mound was to slide back to at least try and cover that hole. And Carpetland's still trying to hit bombs and hit fly balls. That fourth outfielder created a lot of outs for Malcolm, and it was close for quite a while. I think Carpetland ended up winning by 4 or 5, whatever, but genius.
Malcolm, well-coached baseball team, and also they just don't run out of Wisniewskis.
It seems like an endless line of those kids.
Every single time I go out there and umpire Malcolm, you go, "Oh, look at that, another Wisniewski."
That's the Lincoln Christian Dvorak.
Just a pipeline of them.
Right.
Well, the Dvoraks over at Lincoln Christian for many years. Who was the other big family there for a long time? Was Harms?
Maybe.
I'm trying to remember. But like a Pius, the Burt family and the
Easleys.
The Easleys.
Yeah, there's always been an Easley.
Had an Easley in every class there for about 15 years.
And we're not saying anything.
No, but they were all good. It's like, I hope there's no more siblings because they're all athletic that they eventually
and they were all good.
And then, but by the time that you thought the last one had graduated, the oldest one had kids, and here come the grandkids coming in too. So it's very, very athletic families that seem to be at certain schools, as you guys alluded to.
Well, it's what makes, to me, high school sports like the rise and fall of teams so much fun is sometimes you'll just get one super athletic team or one super athletic family that comes in, and for 8 years, this team's just going to be great at basketball or great at baseball because they step in, they come, and you have one kid after another. They're all great at one specific sport, and then that family moves on. They all graduate, and the team drops back down to where they were before, and they wait for the next great family. I love high school sports.
We never had that problem with the Malones in Crete.
Hey, from a choir point of view, the Herbals were that for Lincoln Southeast. Choir and band, yeah.
Well, they're going to win that superior rating again.
Let's see.
I can't wait till Elijah graduates. That guy is just taking all the gold ribbons.
And then 2 years later, here comes Lily Herbal carrying the mantle.
Lamotz's, you had Dad up there in the early to mid 60s, and I showed up in the early to mid 90s.
The Motzes are the reason for the Northeast dominance.
And then, it's not just our family, but there have been a lot. Well, I think of the Novaks. I think of, the Westovers, Mercers, the Hans. Just so many Faglers. There are so many names that are associated with Northeast athletics, and it's not just those families. There's so many others in other sports that made. Well, Bob Els Ross Els. I mean, back, Bob, his father, was an athlete up there in the mid to late 50s, and then was later the head football coach. And then Ross, his son, was a great quarterback, basketball player up there in the early to mid 80s. I mean, there's a lot of names. If you go around town and you look at the schools, and you look at the history books or whatever, and you see these names that are synonymous with these schools, it's like, wow. I mean, that you see that dynasty effect.
Well, and especially with baseball too, because you and I were talking about, you have some of the names.
Well, Charlie and Mickey Cologne,
but look at their father, Floyd,
at Northeast.
Look at Eric and Alex Gordon. Their father.
That's another
there. Their father too.
You had their grandfather Charlie was a longtime head baseball coach at Southeast, and then their dad Mike played there. Of course, Alex, and then Eric, and
now they have Brooks
and Derek, and now I think it's Eric's son. It's
Eric's son, Brooks. Yeah.
That's another generation of the Gordon family that's playing baseball or at Southeast.
Yeah.
So you still have those families around.
Yeah. YZ's telling us it's time to take a break. We've been yapping for forever. We knew this would happen. It's the two P's in a pod segment.
But look, we just added a third P.
Hey, I got talking. Hey, give me talking high school baseball.
So no trivia today?
What?
We can get it done quick.
All right, really quick.
In the 2025 Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame class, there was a baseball player inducted from Omaha West Side. Do you know who it was?
Oh my gosh.
Can we get what years do
what
compete
years?
At West Side?
Did he play at West Side? Oh boy. 1 second. Class of 2005.
So 2002, 3, 4, 5.
Darren Ruff.
Correct. Went on to play professionally for.
Well, he's
7 years.
He's a former Blue Jay.
I wish why couldn't you have given me an Omaha Roncalli baseball history question?
Well, or Omaha Rummel, which was Roncalli.
The Roncalli one I would have got. It was my wife's cousin.
Hey, name a Nebraska quarterback from Omaha Rummel.
Omaha Rummel?
That played at Nebraska in the 70s. Ed Burns.
Okay.
He was a quarterback in Nebraska.
I thought you were going to ask.
Mozi's asking his own trivia questions and answering them.
I'm asking him. You got Husker Army right here.
Well, you asked me one on air, and it was a Jamrog question. I got that. Remember?
Yeah.
But I thought you were going to ask me like the last scholarship Husker football player to come out of Hershey, Nebraska. I was going to nail that one.
Who was that?
Wingback number 17, Shane Swanson. I was all over it. All over it.
Well, that seems like a great place for us to take a break. I'm sure this hilarity will continue during the break. If you want to hang out with us during the break, check us out on stream, the Morning Hookup on YouTube.
Have a good sports weekend, everybody.
K4 Radio and Twitter. Thank you, Mozi. We'll step aside and we'll wrap up a Thursday edition, the final show of the week of the Morning Hookup after this.
Said that.
Number 17, wingback, obviously.
17, wingback, Shane Swanson.
I left off his height and weight, didn't I?
Wait, what was his major?
Exercise science.
3.8 GPA.
It's only about 20 seconds long. 2 swings here. You can hold it. 2 swings. Turn it sideways. You can see it better. 2 swings.
Nice.
Oh, man.
You're looking young.
Not me. That swing looks a lot better this summer.
He does have a similar batting stance to you, though.
We're both left-handed.
Oh,
it's
man.
more fluid this year.
He's going to do some damage.
Oh.
His hip turns a lot more fluid.
In the top hand.
Yeah.
Top hand.
It's more in control.
And you know who took that video? No. The head coach we'll see tonight for Malcolm.
Oh, really?
Malcolm's head coach is his hitting coach.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. that was just priceless. It was just the way you said it, and it was right off the tip of your tongue.
We were out in Waverly. We were out in Waverly.
I hate that ball.
Earlier this year.
You don't like Lawson Park?
No, the park is nice. The infield dirt and then some of the weird kicks you'll get out there, brutal.
Or because a lot of bad hops or something?
You get some bad hops, and then imagine the dirt at Dinsmore, but with more rocks mixed in.
Are you serious? I thought that field out there was a lot better than Dinsmore.
It needs to be filtered.
Yes. Yeah.
I show up to watch Northwest and Waverly play. I didn't even know he was going to be out there. Hey, you want to come up? And he busted me up with a Jeff Jamrog trivia question.
What was the question?
I don't know if it.
He played at Elkhorn Mount Michael.
Yes, it was like
and he was on the
coaching staff, and then went on to coach at Mankato. I'm like, it's Jamrog.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Now the coach
you did the Chris Farley. That is correct. You started taking your shirt off. I'm like, no.
On that note, I gotta go.
Right.
I gotta go do news.
That is correct.
Always fun with you two.
Oh, golly. We got to make this happen. We got to get that third hour.
The stories we miss. The morning hookup.
We couldn't have missed any stories today, could we have?
Dude, we covered everything. Nothing else in the world happened.
No, Sean Eichhorst.
Guys,
I'm just leaving this open to you.
I know that there's a lot of resentment here because that was I don't want to say the start of the fall, but really the start of the hard fall. Would you say the start of the hard fall? Make no mistake. Here's the thing, because a lot of people here in Nebraska, one of their biggest requirements when filling job openings anywhere down there is a prior connection, because they want someone to come in and understand what Nebraska athletics means to this state. And it's tough. For an outsider, it is tough. Matt Rule has spoke at length about, understanding, and he's embraced it because he's all in favor of it. Sean Eichhorst was a businessman. It was strictly business decisions. It didn't take into account how things used to be, how the fans wanted them to be, any of that stuff. And so you had that automatic friction. And I think you combined the fact of who he answered to at the time, that still is, Harvey Perlman, that still, that name, I think, probably makes people cringe a little bit more than Sean Eichhorst does. That wrong place, wrong time, I think. And I'm not here to defend the guy. I'm sure that a lot of things he could have done different. He cut his teeth originally at Wisconsin. So he's going home. Barry Alvarez is still going to be there. And I don't think, I'm not a person who wants him to fail, because I'm worried about us. I'm worried about Troy Dannon, and I'm worried about Matt Rule and Fred Hoiberg. A fresh start for him back where his roots were, under maybe the tutelage of Barry Alvarez, I think will do him well. He does the admin part of the AD, I think, decent as far as trying to make those decisions. Here at Nebraska, it needed to be more, and it needed to almost embrace the fan base. That wasn't his personality or his style, and therefore it made it really hard for it to work for him.
He's a CEO.
Does that make sense?
He's a CEO.
Yes. Where you not only are a CEO here, but you're out front with the first torch, the spokesperson.
Well, and the disconnect, and I brought this up this morning on Lincoln's Morning News, and I'll bring it up again here, is that Sean Eichhorst saw the University of Nebraska athletic department as a business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an athletic department. The problem is the people of Nebraska don't see the Nebraska athletic department as just sports.
They see it as part of their life.
It is a point of pride.
Yes.
And Sean Eichhorst did not see that. I don't think he necessarily
he didn't have that. He didn't have that the years of investment that you and I have. And I don't know how you fault a guy for that.
Like what are people in Nebraska proud of? The College World Series, Chimney Rock, maybe. The University of Nebraska athletics teams. University as a state. Those are the things that we can get together and we can agree upon. Maybe the kind of pioneer heritage that you come from, but for the most part, what can the people of the state band together with? We all love the College World Series. We love the University of Nebraska and Chimney Rock. That's the state.
Sure. And you have to make some hard decisions. I mean, ask Troy Dannon now as we try and reconfigure seats for money now.
And whenever you treat the University of Nebraska a state point of pride as a business, it's gonna rub people the wrong way, especially whenever you come in as an outsider.
Right. Even if you make some hard decisions that benefit that athletic department, people don't see that
because
first.
Troy Dannon is another guy that he is running the University of Nebraska athletic department like a business. The big difference and why he's more well received around here is that he does understand what the University of Nebraska means to people in this state. I don't think Sean Eichhorst always
So did Bill Moose. And we can say that for another show, can't we?
I'm not sure he ran it like a business, though.
Well-oiled machine.
Depends what kind of business you're talking about.
Guys, thanks for having me in today.
See you. Thanks for coming in.
Company holiday tomorrow, then.
Yeah, enjoy your 4th of July. Come back with all 10 fingers.
All right.
We'll see you here soon.
Okay. YZ, always a pleasure.
That'll do it for us here on a Thursday. We'll get caught up with you again next Monday when Bill Hooks makes his return from quote-unquote business.